So as of now, we have done with Apex class
Yes.
and how we can use the functions, how we can use uh, variables, how we can use static, etc., etc. We have learned in Apex class,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So in Apex class, what are the things we can include it in Apex class?
A static, public, private.
Okay.
Um,
So first thing you should remember is Apex class with functions and variables.
okay.
Okay, so coming to variables, there we can decide static in
Yeah.
functions. Okay, coming
Yes.
to coming to class access specifiers, there we can decide public and private.
Private. Yes.
Okay, and now this code we have done it. So here in this, once we have done the class, once we have gave the variables and functions, then we'll be creating the object of our memory and how we can call the function class name with function name and function parameter. Okay,
Yes.
this one we should remember always. Class name,
Okay.
function name, and
Function
function parameter.
parameter.
Okay. So enter these things, we have done it and we got few results also. So coming to the triggers. Trigger is the powerful combination, powerful functionality in Salesforce. By uh, by using trigger, we can call some piece of code some when something is happened in Salesforce. That
Okay.
means how we can give workflow rules. Any idea, Raj? Workflow rules?
I mean,
We'll be
workflow
having
rule,
few criteria like whenever
criteria,
record is
created, edited,
created and
edit,
created,
every time
and
created,
every time
edited,
it's edited, etc.
edited.
So
Yes. Yes.
same like that, we can create the conditions in triggers.
Okay.
So we can call the functions by using anonymous window, by using trigger, by using process builder, integration from other platform, scheduling code, JavaScript button, from another class, from Visual Force page, Lightning component, we can call Apex class. So in
Okay.
this anonymous window, we can complete it. Now we are going to discuss about triggers. Okay. So generally, in general terms, what is mean by triggers?
Triggering means, I mean, automated action, which when if any action
Yes,
is
it's like
performed,
automation process,
yeah,
automated
automation.
process. Like whenever something is done, then it will be triggered.
Trigger.
Okay. So just see this diagram. So workflow, while we are creating workflow rule, what is the first step we can do it?
So we need to, I mean, we have to mention any condition.
Okay, before that,
Before that, need to create workflow,
no, in
and
no,
we need to select
no, no, 1 minute,
object.
Rajesh. Yes, exactly. So we need to select one object. Same way
Yes.
for triggers also, whenever you want to do something, we need to decide on which object we need to create the trigger for what we are creating. These two things we need to remember in your mind. Okay, so just see this picture. So here our scenario is we have pulsar bike object. Okay, yes, here it is. We have pulsar bike object and we have a few records. So here, when you click on this, you'll be getting customer name, bike model, price, delivery location.
Yes.
So here what showroom people announced is, as per anniversary offer, they want to give 20 USD dollars a flat discount, which is purchasing more than 1 lakh. That means just around 1600. Or else we can make it as 2000. Give me a minute. Flat rating, flat discount rating. Okay,
Okay.
this is what our scenario now. Okay, just think in that way. Just keep it aside, and now we can see this diagram and see here. Just think that this is our Salesforce arc, and there is a pulsar bike object, and now once it is done, once it is done, what will be happen? Record will get saved in database directly. In case if there is
Yes.
no trigger,
Yes.
right? So directly
Yes.
it will get saved in
Database.
database. Okay. In case here, that means here if it is 1 lakh, directly 1 lakh will get saved here. But
Yes.
now our requirement is, if it is a 1 lakh, it has to be stored as 98,000.
Yes.
Okay. So by manually we are not updating 98,000. So automatically it should be triggered to the record. So how it will works? First, when you enter the record in that particular field, then trigger will comes into the picture. Okay. So trigger will come to the picture, and now this trigger will throw to class. Okay. So from the class, we'll call the trigger. There, this discount will be applied, and whichever discount is applying, that information will get stored in database. This is a simple manner actually, but coming in technical terms, trigger is the process where actually we will be having event activity, and
Okay.
that means here we plan one event activity that if it is more than 1 lakh rupees price, then it should be happen. Okay, this is now tell me, is this event or not?
Mm,
So once it is a 1 lakh rupees bike, 2000 will be discount. Now either it is a discount, it will be event or action.
okay.
What it will be, Rajesh?
Sorry, bro.
Okay,
It will be an
okay.
action.
It will be action. Sure,
Yes. Uh, Even.
that will be action. That is not event,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, bro.
So now once the event activity is planned, then using that event activity, specific event brings the trigger into the picture with the trigger.new data storage,
Okay.
which helps under for providing all the information which performs business logic and giving controls back to the trigger. This is technical definition. So you need not remember all these things. Okay. Whichever is happening in this, you're just explaining here.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes, bro.
just we'll give another example. Okay. Just think. Okay. Just think. There is a highway. Okay. So
Yeah.
here you got one information stating that uh, somehow police department got one information that they need to catch one particular vehicle like white Audi vehicle.
Okay.
Okay, so here I'm just giving. Okay, so what they got the information is they need to catch one white Audi and they need to investigate what is going on in that white Audi particularly.
Okay.
So there is a policeman, okay, in highway they are checking everything in a check post, and now one blue color Toyota went in this highway. Will they catch?
Low.
Why? Because their
They
information
are
is
looking
different.
for white
Okay.
eye.
And now blue already went there. Will they catch?
No.
Okay. So now white already will go. Now
They
they'll
will.
catch because
Yes.
they just want to interrogate with those people who are traveling white already.
Yes.
Okay. So once they caught these people, what they'll do? There are two options. They can investigate then and there itself on the highway itself, right?
Yes. Yes.
And another option is they can ask them to go to the station and there
There they can.
they
They will
can do
interact.
investigate,
Yes.
and if they require they can ask, or else they can send it to home.
Yeah.
So now they caught these people and now they are sent to police station.
Okay.
Okay, so in police station they have done interrogation and they said they don't have they got wrong information they have sent, not wrong information, something happened, they have done investigate and they have sent them to home.
Okay.
Okay, that's what happened. So in this scenario, what is the event?
Event.
So
Event is. I
okay,
mean.
just in this scenario, just think that this is the trigger scenario, just think in that way. So in this
Okay.
event, in this scenario, what is the event?
White Audi.
Exactly, white or is the event. Okay, so next.
Action is. I mean. They need to cut. Cut
Yes,
the.
they need to cut. Okay,
Yeah.
very good. So next, what will be happen?
It will. There itself. It will store, or else they will go to some place. I
Yes,
mean, police station. What?
action will be done in trigger itself. That is one
Yeah.
option. Or else they will send that action to Apex class.
Okay.
From class, they can trigger. They can do the trigger. So
Okay.
how we were doing it through anonymous window, same
Yeah.
thing will be happen by trigger.
Yes.
Okay. Till here, you can understand, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now we'll check the class. So to create the class, what we were doing it for first
Class name.
class name.
Class name.
That means we are telling to Salesforce that we are going to create the class by using this
Yes.
keyword class.
Yes.
Keyword is nothing but we are just telling to Salesforce what we are going to do.
Yes.
Okay. Same way we can start the trigger with the trigger and trigger name.
Okay.
Okay. So we
Yeah.
can do it here. Trigger and which on which object we are going to give pulsar bike.
Pulsar bike.
Okay, so their object name is pulsar, right?
Yeah.
So now in this object, oh shit. So now on which object we are going to work the trigger, we can see. Pulsar bike. So in this we are going to create the object. So just click on the object. See here in details you can get in classical stuff you can see this. So in lightning you can get the all information related to this object, fields, page layouts, record
Yes,
types,
yes.
and now check with triggers.
Triggers.
Okay,
Yes.
so while checking trigger, I'll make it duplicate 1 minute. So in this there is no trigger as of now. Okay, so just create new. Once you click on new, here what you can see.
Trigger, name, and pulsar bike underscore C
Okay,
events.
why it is getting on pulsar bike C?
So we are in pulsar object.
Yes, exactly. So same thing we are going to do it here. So trigger. So now here, can you please explain in this line?
Yeah. Trigger name on pulsar object
Okay.
before
So
insert. While inserting, I mean saving the record only, we need, I
okay.
mean,
By using this trigger, we are telling to Salesforce we are creating trigger. Okay.
yes,
And what is this?
trigger
Trigger
name.
name. And by using on keyword, we can understand on which object it is going to work.
Yes,
But here it's showing double underscore C. Why?
custom object.
Because it's a custom object. So
Custom object.
API name only we can give here. So we will not
Yes,
give object name directly. Object API name only we can give.
okay.
And now what is this?
Parameters we can say.
No,
I
where we
mean,
can pass the
action,
parameters.
action.
Okay. So here, what was the first question we asked? What is the event here we asked?
Event. Yes. Okay, that was the event.
So
Okay,
this will be event.
okay,
Okay. This will be event and this will be trigger name.
okay. Yes.
And now in trigger conditions we haven't give. Now we are going to give
Yes.
condition. Condition
Okay.
like how can we give the condition? See here. How we can call the class?
Class name dot object. No. Class name dot function name. Okay.
Class name dot function name dot parameter.
Yes.
This we are going to use here. So why we need to give class name here in the condition? Because we already said
Yes.
here. See here.
Yes.
Once trigger got catch the event, it'll send to police station
Class.
like class.
Yes.
Got it?
Yes, bro.
Okay. Same thing we have showed here. Once trigger will comes into the picture, first it will throw to class because in class only we will do all the conditions. So now
Okay.
we'll give one class name like pulsar demonstration and apply discount. Okay, and now
Bro, we have not created the class, right?
that's what I'm saying. Wait.
Oh,
Wait for some time. So here, can you please explain this line?
that is an nothing. Class
What we gave here? Class name, function name, and
name
function
dot
parameter.
function. Yes.
That means whichever we are displaying here, that will be giving the result, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here, class name we are giving in condition, and this is function name,
Function name,
and this is
function event.
but in here,
Parameter,
yes, function parameter normally,
function
but in
parameter.
triggers we will not call as function parameter. We can call this one as sender of the records. Sender of the record in the sense whichever we are updating the records here.
Okay.
Right? Whichever we are updating the record, that has to work here.
Okay.
That got it? What I'm saying? See
Yes,
here,
yes.
once any record created here, that will be displayed here. For this, discount will get applied. That's what we are giving the function name.
Okay.
Okay. So now trigger is ready. Okay. In trigger, generally, this is the best practice actually. In trigger, we will not use too much of coding.
Okay.
Maximum we'll be having 2 to 3 lines or 4 to 5 lines at coding only we'll be having triggers, because from trigger we need to call the class. We
Okay.
already discussed a class will be mixed of functions and variables, right?
Yes, bro.
So when function is there, it will give the results by using variables. How function will work? When we are triggering the event, then only function will work, and variable will give the result by using trigger.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, bro.
So now we are going to create the class. Now tell me, you know how to create the class, right?
Yes,
So how
bro.
can we create the class? So here we already have class name
Yes.
and we already have function name. So to create the class, what are the requirement we need to have? Functions and
Class
variables.
name, variable.
Functions and variables we require,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
So now tell me, how can we create the class?
Public class name,
Very good. Public class,
class
and this
name,
is the class name.
open bracket.
Okay.
So variable declaration,
Okay. So how can we declare the variable in public or
private,
private? Very good.
private,
Private.
private integer, discount, integer,
Okay. Integer.
where,
Where?
mm, a we can give or what?
Okay. Your wish.
Yeah, where a equal to uh, integer 20%.
Okay. 2000.
Yeah, 2000. Semicolon.
Okay.
After that, private integer, private integer, private integer,
Okay.
where b, we can give where b,
Okay.
semicolon, b, software, um,
Okay. Just give me a minute. I'll show the class for your understanding.
okay,
This is the class. Okay. Public class, class name. Till here you understood. Public class, class name you understood. And for variable declaration, what you have done,
Oh yeah,
private
private static
static
integer
integer.
and variable where.
Okay, variable. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so now here in this class, based on our requirement, first thing, variable where we need to give
Uh, Under the class, inside the class, bro.
1 minute. Uh, till here, what did you understand? Just gives a recap.
Okay. So we are performing trigger
Two
on.
things, Rajesh. One thing.
Oh,
First thing is we are not calling this class by using anonymous window.
okay.
Okay.
Yes, yes,
While we are using anonymous window, we need to have variables, functions, and business logic, etc.
yes.
Because we know from where it is calling. But in
Okay.
this scenario, we know where it is calling, right? So where it is calling from trigger.
We trigger from
Okay.
trigger.
So here we know what is the event,
Yes,
right? And
yes.
here we already having one variable. What it is?
I mean variable
Yes.
functional before insert. Oh,
This
okay.
is sender information.
Okay, okay,
Sorry, not this one. This is event. This one.
okay,
Here you will not do nothing. Directly, Salesforce will give this information. How it will be means we are entering the record, right?
yes, true.
That will get stored here.
Okay,
So why we are doing triggering this? Whichever storing here, that has to give the information here, right? That has to give the
yes,
result here. Got it?
yes, bro.
That has to give the result in the sense it won't it won't work. Sorry, it won't work on any logic. So now tell me how can okay? Directly I'll give the line. Now you can understand.
Sub static
Yes, public static void
void.
then function name. Here in function parameter we need to have list. We need to have list of records.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll explain how it is. List and okay. So function we have created. So public, why we are giving this?
It will access throughout the class.
Okay. Static, why we are giving this?
So instead of
Instead of
I mean
creating the object,
object,
we need
we
not
are
create any object, and we have created a static here. And void, which is not going to give any result.
any return value.
Any return value it is not going to give. Are
Right.
we applying any logic here? Here we are not applying.
Yes.
Okay. This is function name. And coming here, we are giving list record, and this is the parameter name. Okay, so here list record. Okay, first once I'll show the result, then you can understand easily. So we can call this one as S object.
Okay.
S object means nothing but list of records. See here, I can see like instead of list pulsar bike, we can take like this. 1 minute. We can do it just like, and variable name we can give like as ABC or XYZ something. That means in Pulsar bike, whichever record is updating it, that record will work on that record trigger will work.
Okay.
But if you give like this list of records, list of a subject, list of a subject, while you are using list of a subject, it will be works for all the records.
Yes.
But we are not sure, we are not going to create only one record, right? There are
Yes.
many multiple tools we can upload the records directly, thousands of records directly. So
Yes.
if you give here only one record, then it will throw the error. Only it will take only one record answer. Remaining will not be getting the discount.
Okay.
So that is reason we'll go with S object. So just remember S object means nothing but list of records. Records of this particular
Regards of
this particular object.
object. Yes.
Okay. So now here once we have done it, then we are writing this logic, right?
Yes.
So in case normally what we can do is normally once it is done, then what we can do, we can take this list of record and we'll go with this variable name and we'll go like this, right? Normally in case if it is static is not there,
Yes.
if it is static is not there, we'll go with this. So now we
Yes, bro.
already used static, so this one not required.
Okay.
Okay. So now before we starting the trigger, you already gave the information how we can do it. So now we can use for loop here.
Yes, bro.
Okay. So for loop, what we can do?
For
Subject or object, and we can give variable p. We can give a b something, but p why I'm giving it will be related to this object. In case if you want while you are working account object, you can go with a. If you are working for mobile object, you can go with where mobile. If you go with a student object, we can go with yes. So to be related to that object, you can take it. So
yeah, yeah, good.
now I'm going with where p, and next step, is that correct? And here
For
this variable.
okay.
Got it? And now condition. See, as per this line, this sender information will be happening object. This information will goes to this variable. Got it, Rajesh?
Yes,
So
yes,
for
bro.
example, here if they entered 1 lakh, then that information will comes to here. So now
Yes, bro.
if it has the for loop, then first record number will comes here, and then it will give here. It will give result here. So, but
Yes.
condition we haven't give as of now. So,
This is for each, right, bro?
for loop, for loop we are giving.
For looping, this condition belongs to for each, right, bro?
Yes, for each loop.
Yeah, yeah, for
Sorry,
each loop.
sorry, for
Okay.
each loop. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
For loop, whenever we are doing only one record, we can go with
yeah,
for loop. I'm sorry. For each, then while we are uploading bulk of records, then it will work.
yeah.
So now our condition is take this variable and where it has to work.
On new record.
Okay, this is the new record. 1 minute. This is the new record, right? In this, we have different fields.
Yes, bro.
Okay, which field on which field it has to work.
Price.
Okay, so once it is price, we need not to go with this one. We need to go with
Yeah.
this API name. Okay,
Yes, bro.
type 1 lakh. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is the condition. Okay, now what will be happen?
So, if price greater than equal to 10,000. Oh.
Okay, so here
Yes.
what we are doing, for each loop we are giving, so whichever data they are entering here, this is center of the records, and here it will be receiving the records,
Yes, bro.
receives of the records. So for this we are making for each loop. So every
Yes.
record first will get stored here and it will throws here. Once it is done, then again it will go back to another record. Okay, so brackets for this it's done. For this, okay, okay, okay. Got it. We are sending, we are getting red marks here. It is matching.
Yes, bro. Yes,
Okay.
bro.
So now we have done with class, we have done with trigger. Now
Okay.
we can see it is working or not. So trigger, I'm just copying it. I just pasted here.
First, we will create trigger, bro.
No, no, no. One minute. So here in class, sorry. So here trigger is there, here class is there. Now your question will come. One minute. I'm just removing this. Okay. Now tell me which one we have to save, trigger or class?
Sorry, bro.
Now we both ready with the trigger and class.
Yes.
Okay. Now which one we have to save, trigger first or class first?
I think we need to save the class.
Why?
No, no. we need to we need to save the class only, bro.
Yes, your answer is
We'll
perfect. We need to
yeah, yeah.
save the class because here, as per
It
this
will call
thing,
the trigger.
trigger is calling class, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, once you save the trigger, it goes to class. When class is not
Yes.
there, then it won't work, right? It will throw the error.
Yes, yes.
So now I'm going to save the record. Sorry, class. Yes, it's fine. And now I'm going to save this. Okay. What is the difference between save and quick save, Rajesh? Any idea?
Save. No idea, bro.
Okay. Once you save, then it goes to previous page.
Okay.
If you click on quick save, that will be saved and you'll be in same page.
Okay.
So now we came to home page here.
Okay.
Okay. So
Mhm.
now trigger is ready and class also is ready. That means as per this diagram, class also ready, trigger also ready. Now it has to come. How much we gave the discount? 2000 rupees.
2000. Yes,
Okay.
bro.
So now go to uh, this one. Got it?
Yes, bro.
So automatically it got changed. By manually we haven't done this.
Yes.
Okay. So now in this trigger, what did you understand exactly?
So,
So here,
if I mean,
okay,
yeah.
first thing we need to have less code in trigger. That means we
Yes.
have discussed here, right? We haven't investigated then and there. We have to send them to station, right? So same way
Yes.
we have to send the trigger to class. Why we are sending to class? Because
So,
in class we can have variables plus functions
yes.
with the memory,
Yeah.
but in triggers we don't have that option. So that
Okay.
is the reason we are sending trigger to the class. So in class directly we'll be having class name and function parameters. So here only challenging part is we need to decide on which kind of event we are going to work and which kind of action we are going to give. These
Okay.
two things will be depends on the our scenario. So in this trigger, where can we find which kind of event we are going to give? This is the event.
Yes, bro.
Okay,
Mm.
this is the
Yeah.
event, and you should get one doubt here. Trigger.new. So
Yeah.
did you understand what is trigger.new?
So whenever I mean new record is created, the trigger will trigger. So,
Yes, trigger means nothing but which contain records because of the which trigger got called.
okay.
This result because of trigger called only we are getting it.
Yes, bro.
Okay, so you need to get one more doubt here. So
List of objects.
okay, so why we are taking here list of S object?
List
We
will allow
we
duplicates.
yes, we can take it as integer or we can take the string, and as you said, duplicates will allow. And
Yes.
sometimes maybe different kind of people they'll be purchasing on same rate.
Yes, yes.
So this will allows duplicates. So that's the reason we are taking list of S object. S object in this that particular records, entire records in the object. So now if you go to this page, we can call all these records called as S object.
Okay.
Okay. And one more, why we are going with list means if you go with only single record, As we discussed, we have many tools, right? In case if you upload records with data loader, then that will be error for remaining records. It will take
Yes.
only for one record. So that is the reason we'll give a list of a subject, and this will be like in our simple way, we'll take it as a variable.
Yes,
Okay, so this is how triggers will work. And now going back to going forward to another topic, trigger events. So what we can call the keyword for public to describe public.
public, I mean, access specifier.
Okay, access specifiers. By using access specifiers, we can decide either we can use this function or not for remaining actions.
Yes.
Okay, so same way here depends on this scenario. Depends on this scenario. We have decided that once it is inserted, then only trigger got called. We have decided, right?
Yes.
But coming to trigger scenario, we can't decide every time. Whenever it is inserted, only it will be decided. Sometimes whenever it got edited, sometimes it got deleted, sometimes it got updated. We have different events. So for
Yes.
those things, we can call it as context variables.
Okay.
Okay, so we have different types of context variables. So
Okay.
So how we have entered here before insert, same way we have these many variables like is executing, is insert,
Yes,
is
okay.
update, is delete, is before, is after, is undelete, new, new map, old map, equation type, size.
Okay.
And not only this, we have different events also. These all are only context variables. We have different events also. So I'll share this data to you. Just read this. I mean, when is insert will be happen, when is update will be happen. This is for your information.
Okay.
And next class we'll discuss about context variables and remaining actions also.
Okay.
Okay, as of now, any doubts, Rajesh?
No, bro. Okay.
So this one I'll share to you in Excel sheet, and
Okay.
I'll give this code also to you.
Okay.
I have a few more things. One minute. I have few scenarios also for triggers, like
Okay.
where age is less than 30 and expense is more than 8 years, then it should be selected. And computer capacity check, where RAM is less than 1 GB, processor is 2 GB, then status has to show low capacity. And
Okay.
we have different scenarios. I'll share this Word and Excel sheet both. Once we have
Okay.
done with context variables, then we can start doing practice on that word. Check.
Okay.
Here you have some multiple scenarios. Just try to do it. In case if you get any doubt, we can get the call. We'll conduct one call and we'll have discussion there.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tomorrow evening we'll be having classes, bro. I'm okay with 6 o'clock, 6 to 8 also. I'm okay.
Okay, bro. No issue.
Okay.
Morning, bro. We'll have class morning, 7 p.m. or